Hello, BookTube. This is a video about the ShakeTube 2017, the read along for Shakespeare that's been put together by Luukashist at his channel, which I'll link, and at Curtis Books and Movies, who also was involved. Um, Seems like a pretty good list of folks that are getting involved in this, and I'm joining them. There's also a whole schedule that Lukash has put together and what order things are going to be read in that he took from Harold Bloom. Quite a few of the folks reading will be using Harold Bloom's book as a guidebook. I'll be doing something a little different just for the sake of variety. I'm a big fan of Harold Bloom's some of the time. He can be a bit much, but I do enjoy his work. So I thought I'd go through a little bit of the Shakespeare stuff that I'll be using in the upcoming read-alongs. There'll be some background stuff I'd like to read. So let's just get to it and see what I've got here and how I'm going to do this. So for background material, I do have a couple of the Dover little inexpensive reprints of the plays. William Shakespeare's Richard III and William Shakespeare's Hamlet, both of which we'll be using. The advantage of these is you don't get drowned in footnotes. I like footnotes, so I tend to overdo them a bit. Sometimes these little Dover thrift editions get you to read the play, then go back and I have other sources for the footnotes. So there's plenty of wonderful Shakespeare collections made. The Arden Shakespeare, Folger Library. Pelican's done some beautiful stuff. I don't even know them all. It's part of our culture, so there's been a lot of involvement with them. A book I just recently got in a book haul, Shakespeare of London, I Shall Shoot. Let me give you some dates here. E.P. Dutton and Company Incorporated, Publishers, New York. This is the first edition from 1949. This book is not hard to find, and you see it everywhere at library book sales. You can find it at yard sales. I'm sure you can find it online. I didn't look. A standard thing for Book of the Month Club, that type of thing. I don't know why I've never read it. I never have. I think because it was so common, I just kept walking by it. And so during some part of this whole read-along, I will try to get to that. I recently read this, A.L. Rouse, Shakespeare the Man. I'm not sure Mr. Rouse is in quite as much favor now as he was when I was a youngster. This is the first U.S. edition from 1973, and it's published by Harper & Row Publishers, New York, Evanston, San Francisco, and London. One side you can see the many, many volumes that Mr. Rouse has written. I am currently trying to collect books, and I have one of them, in his series called The Elizabethan Age, which was the England of Elizabeth, the expansion of Elizabethan England, the Elizabethan Renaissance, the life of the society, and the Elizabethan Renaissance, the cultural achievement. So I liked him. I enjoyed him. A few other volumes here. I just finished this. International Profiles, William Shakespeare by Ivor Brown. Very short little thing. Read more for enjoyment than anything else, which is good enough reason to read, right? This is, let's see, it's from 1968 by Morgan Grampian Books Limited, The Strand, London. So I enjoyed it. Illustrated. a fun little read. I'm not sure how academic it is. And then I have here another Dover book, A Shakespeare Grammar, an attempt to illustrate some of the differences between Elizabethan and modern English. This may sit there and not get used at all, or I may run into something that interests me, and then it'll be valuable. This is by E.A. Abbott, Dover Publications, Mineola, New York. The Dover edition is from 1966, and the original was published by Macmillan and Company, London, in 1870. But Shakespeare hasn't changed much from it since 1870. Now, a lot of folks are going to be using the Harold Bloom book on Shakespeare. And I've decided to go a different way. I'm going to use this. And this is Marjorie Garber, Shakespeare After All. And it was Pantheon Books, New York. This is 2004. And it says, a gift from Borders on that little sticker there. I don't remember why it was a gift from Borders. I don't know, was that what I was doing to get it, or if it was even me who did. So you do each, it has a rundown of each of the plays. So our first play is The Taming of the Shrew, and it starts on page 57. And I'll be using that as a guide. Now, for most of the plays, if I don't purchase Dover editions, it will be another, I'll read them out of another A.L. Rouse I have, and that's this monstrous thing, the Annotated Shakespeare. Absolutely massive beast of 3 volumes. So you have the Annotated Shakespeare by A.L. Rouse. You have the first volume is Histories, Sonnets, and Other Poems. Second is Tragedies and Romances. And third is Comedy. Well, we know Taming of the Shrew is a comedy. So let me pull that out of there so you can see. So it's annotated. Here's the end papers. Clarkson and Potter Incorporated, Publishers, New York, distributed by Crown Publishers Incorporated. The Annotated Shakespeare, Volume 1. So it should have been the first spot. Doesn't matter. The Comedies, edited with introductions, notes, a biography, and bibliography by A.L. Rouse. And this came out in 1978. It's the first edition. So that's what that looks like. So that, you know, a little bit of a bio of the great man. And let's see here. Get to the Taming of the Shrew, 1592. So they give you the play, background, personnel, theme. Those are on here. On the page. And then we'll go into the play itself, dramatis personae, introduction. Up and down the sides, you can see the notes are on the side instead of at the foot. So the word distraught, we would say distraught. That's 2627. So you can see how that works. So that's how I'll be reading through the plays for the most part, I think. Along with, I'll probably start with Marjorie Graber, Garber, excuse me, Shakespeare After All. Read the piece on The Taming of the Shrew. Let's see, in this case, I mean, they're not very long. So her piece on The Taming of the Shrew goes from page 57 to 72. And then I'll read the Rouse introduction and then the play itself in the annotated Shakespeare and see how it goes. If I find out I'm getting buried in the notes too much, I'll switch over to the Dover and then maybe read the volumes of the notes for my second reading. So I'm looking forward to this. It's a great bunch of booktubers and hopefully booktube commentators that we all enjoy. And I'll try to link Luukashist and Curtis and then the list that Luukashist put up on his channel. And I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, BookTube.